Welcome to my truth. My name is Lindy Sherries, and thank you so much for joining me. If you're joining me for the first time, welcome to the family. And if you are a regular subscriber, thank you so much for supporting me up until now. Well, in today's video, I'm going to tell you a story time of how I got into IT without a degree. So when I say IT, I actually mean information technology. So this is something that I didn't study, but yet I ended up in IT. For the past 18 years, I've been in IT as a developer. Let's just go back to history so that we can get the context of where it all started. So after matric, I passed, but my results were not so good. So I had to go and rewrite maths. And I remember having to attend classes somewhere in Midrand. This white lady was teaching me maths, and then my results tried to sort of like improve, but then I got accepted to study industrial engineering at TUT. So TUT used to be Pretoria Technicon back then, and for those who studied around my time, hello. And then I got into industrial engineering. I was also accepted for accommodation. And this is the main campus, right? You know, there at the mountains. So that's where I used to study. And the rest where I used to stay, it used to called Denise. So there's different rests, like there's Polonaise, Minjonette, and different other rests. But the one where I was staying is called Denise. So I went to university, studied for 2 years. It was supposed to be 3 years, but then I think it took me 3 years for me to finish the modules because I was failing. Some of these modules I actually failed. You know how first year sometimes can be tricky for most people, especially if you are not really like focused. I was not the type that was all out there partying and all, but then I just didn't take my studies that serious. Even in high school, I remember I was just one of those children who would get 50, 60, and then if I get 70, that's my A. So I never really put so much effort, and I think it's because of the upbringing and my parents as well. They never used to put emphasis. So, you know, some of us, while we were growing up, they would just take you to school, and then the only time they will go back to school is when they go for parents meeting, or maybe if they are required to fetch reports. But other than that, you would just go on your own until matric, and then you would just do applications and do everything yourself. So parents were not so involved like the way I look at me and my husband. We are so involved. Like, we would know the teachers, we would know the subjects, we would know what she's struggling on, and then we will find the tutors. We will just focus on that, and also the extra curriculum activities. We will make sure that they're all planted in those ones. With us now, it was laid back. So education was never emphasized. Like for me, it was all about, okay, let me just study and then finish matric, because I really didn't enjoy school. So for me, it was just, let's just finish matric and then we'll write about university. I wasn't those ones who knew from the start that I want to be a doctor, I want to be a professor. No. It wasn't like that. With me, it was like, okay, let's get to matric. Whatever results I get, then I will decide which one I would follow. So for me, even the reason why I went to do the extra classes to upgrade my maths is because I wanted to be accepted in industrial engineering. Sort of like engineering. When people ask me, so what are you studying? I would say engineering, but I won't say industrial engineering. So industrial engineering deals with the time, how to calculate time, especially in a production plant. So maybe say to produce a car, it takes 20 minutes to put tires from one car up until to the other. So you would just measure that distance and try and find ways to improve that. So that's why they called it engineering. And I don't really think it was supposed to be industrial, but then who knows? I actually don't even care. So I am glad God didn't keep me in that career, because I was going to be bored. I just didn't understand, why are we calculating? Okay, for me, it must be something like you're solving a problem over and over. Whereas in IT, if you're tired, you can just go to web development, you can go to programming, you can go to application development, you can just go to SQL Server. So there's just so much in IT that you can do. You can even go to fixing computers if you're really tired of just programming and writing the soft side of programming. I just didn't enjoy the course, but then I stayed until the end. So went back home and looking for a job. I couldn't find anything. I applied and applied. You know, they will say, okay, when you apply for engineering, you will find something. For me, I didn't find. Maybe it's because of industrial engineering. It wasn't like your electrical where you know, or mining or chemical where you know that you will get a job. With industrial engineering, I didn't find a job. I remember at that time, my boyfriend then, who's now my husband, we walked around at Olifantsfontein looking for a company just to give me in-service training so that I can graduate, and we couldn't find it. We applied, and it went like that for a year where I was just looking and didn't find anything. And from that time, I started thinking maybe I should just branch and look for something else, but I didn't know what to look for. And I started playing basketball because I'm one person. I do not want to sit and be idle and do nothing. So there's one thing about me. If I want to know something, I will put effort and learn up until I know. So with basketball as well, I remember I just wanted Jordans, and my parents couldn't even afford Jordans. So I would play basketball, and I also sort of like started to catch it, but then I had to stop before I even got into that level where I was like now a pro. A family friend came to my parents' house, and then he said, if I go to the community hall, there is people who are actually looking for young people who will do a learnership. Then just because obviously I was just looking for something, I went there and just put my name and my cell phone number and then just went back home. Lucky enough, they called. I think it was after a few days they called saying I need to go for an interview. And I remember in that interview, they said it was like over 2,000 people, and then we were like shortlisted 200. So from that 100, we had to go to the company that was offering the learnership, which was site-based. So it's a company in Woodmead. This is in Gauteng. And then from there, I was also shortlisted to, I think, around 50 people. And then we had to meet the main person, like the head of that department who was running this IT. And then I remember going to her office, and then she interviewed me and said, I like you a lot, but you do not have the skills. And IT is not like one of those things that you can just catch. It's not like your theory, which you can just study, memorize, and then start doing. IT, you need to practice over and over again. So for you, you do not have any computer skill. How are you going to cope with IT? And I remember saying to her, just give me a chance. I will prove to you. I will put effort. I will learn. Even my computer skills from back in varsity, it was one of those that I was touching the mouse for the first time. And I would learn Word. They'll just teach you PowerPoint, Word, and a bit of Excel. And then you feel like Excel is something way complicated. So it wasn't that higher level. It was just something that we just had to do simple Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and it wasn't even on a higher level. So I didn't know much when it came to computers. So that lady said, I like you, I like your spirit, I like the way you present yourself, I like the hunger that you have, I like the fact that you do not have any other options. I'm just going to give you this opportunity and we will see if you will cope. I was the only person in that learnership who didn't have IT degree. Most of them, they had other certificates or something to do with IT. With me, nothing. And then we went to the learnership. We were 20. The final number was 20 people. And then we went into a learnership. And it was done at Bytes Technology. It's somewhere in Metro. And then when I got there, I had to learn from what is variable, what is C++, what is a database, what are tables, primary keys. But I just put so much effort into that. Every time they would go and give us a project with me, I had to go learn the theory, practice, do it over and over again, come back, and then start doing whatever practicals they wanted us to do. I just gave myself into that learnership. And then it got to a point where the learnership ended, and I was one of the 3 that was selected to go to Sybase and work there full time. And for me, ever since that day, nothing looks so impossible when it comes to learning new skills. So another good example, I'm not a good cook. Maybe I should stop saying I'm not a good cook, because I am now. It's something that I do not like. It's something that I think I shouldn't do. It's something that I only do because I don't want my family to starve. But I will never put effort and plan menus. No, that's boring for me. I do not like it, and I wish I had money so that I can hire a chef to do that. But then recently, now that I am at home, I am cooking more, I'm actually realizing this thing is actually easy. You just mix, you just need to know how to mix. You just need to go to people and learn about different salads and learn how to cook stew. And I am actually nailing it now. My family, they're actually saying that my food now is nice. So it's easy for me to learn a new skill, but then I have to want it. Another example is cryptocurrencies, guys. I didn't know anything about cryptocurrency, but then I have an advantage because my mind is already in IT, so I can pick up these things easy. When it says blockchain, I already see a big database where everyone can view. So to me, I just need to translate it to my level of understanding. And I learn best, especially when someone shows me that this April goes there and why we are doing whatever we are doing. Then for me, it will be easy for my brain to go and compatibilize everything that I need to do. Then for me, it will be easy to program anything because I already saw it in my mind. The same thing with the NGO. With the NGO, I just have a vision. I know that I want to build schools. I know I want to go to African countries where girls are actually sent to get married at a young age. So it's already in my mind. I know exactly what I need to do. I just need to get money, and I will make sure that it is done. So it's easy for me to learn anything. I just need to want it, and I just need to understand the need, to understand exactly what I need to solve, because I am a problem solver. First day at Sybase, we started working, and then it was also complicated. And then I worked as a support engineer for 3 years, where I was just supporting the major banks which used our database, which was called Sybase. So I supported many of these banks. Whenever they had a problem, I would go to that bank and solve whatever to do with the database, anything to do with the products that were sold at Sybase. So I became good at solving problems when it comes to IT. So whenever you bring a problem, even if it's just a production incident or whatever, your database crash, I always know how to get to the bottom of this problem and find a solution. So with me, I even get excited every time that happens. So even now at work, whenever there's a problem, there are certain people who know if we call Lindy, she will just use her eyes and just drill down to the error, and then she will come up with a solution, because my eyes are already programmed and I already know how to solve problems when it comes to anything IT related. I even taught myself how to develop a website. I am planning to teach myself how to develop an application. So these are the things that I can learn. And I even taught myself the whole YouTube, cryptocurrencies. So I just watch and learn, take notes, practice. And I do not say something unless if I tried it. Especially when you come to my crypto channel, you would know that before I say something to you, I'll have to practice it. I have to implement it. I have to see the results. Then I will say to you, you can go and do that thing. Because my mind is already in an IT form. So that's how I got into IT. It's been 18 years and now I want to resign at the end of the year. Am I going to stop IT and not do anything to do with IT? No. I am going to continue with IT. I'm planning to have an online school to do with IT. I'm planning to have maybe learnerships for kids at the location, for kids in government schools where I can just go and teach. But then this is something that I plan to do in my own terms, because I am against the fact that you have to impress someone the whole year and then that person gets to decide if you get a bonus, if you get a raise, and then they will end up lying to you at the same time. So I am against that. I am against being hired, going with there's 20 of you and then someone will have to decide if you're good enough to join that company. So I don't want to be at anyone's mercy when it comes to employment. And besides, you have to just open your eyes. There's so many ways to make money outside your career if you want to live your career. And I do understand there are people who are born to do this career thing, to climb the corporate ladder, to go. But just know that there can only be 1 or 2 CEOs in a company. So if you are striving to become a CEO, just think about such and work hard in order to achieve. Everything is possible. You just have to want it and want it so bad, and then you will achieve your dreams. So now I am in social media business, online business, and that's where I'm planning to branch. And I have built the foundation and it will grow. It is growing. And I am so excited. I'm starting to understand the algorithm when it comes to Instagram. I know I'm not yet deep, but then I know sort of how Instagram can be hacked in order for it to grow. And once it gets to 100,000, that's you and companies now. That's you doing paid partnerships for those companies, because companies now are using social media influencers to advertise their businesses. Just one day, my husband came home and said he's looking for an influencer, someone who just have 10,000 people, and then they will pay that person 10,000 or up to 30,000. Then I said, then there's money in social media, there's money being an influencer. So what about those who have million? Guys, they are killing it. So guys, that's how I got into IT. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification, comment if you have any questions, or if you want to resign one day, you need to start now and start building your side hustles. Not everyone is going to be the CEO.